The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. With this episode, we begin a short series of adventures that are both introduced and resolved within the hour of play. In this first of the series, a party member is accused of murder and must find a way to clear their name before it's too late. Enjoy the podcast.
Hi, and welcome to The Shed for Adventures from the Shed. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Of course, search us up on iTunes and Facebook. We'd love to hear from you there. We are back in the shed. We're going to continue our Dungeon World adventure campaign thingy we're calling A New Frontier. We're going to go around the table and say hi. We'll start right with this guy here.
Hey, it's Chris playing Uriel the Immolator.
And then?
Oh, I'm back. I'm Mike.
Back.
I'm Mike.
Hi,
I'm
back.
playing Laramie Burnsteel, the Paladin. Joe, see ya.
Go, Joe.
Go, Joe.
Go, Joe.
And good Lord, it smells like vinegar in here.
It's vinegar, beef jerky, and Fruit Loops.
There's a lot of food going on. Hey, this is Kurt. I am playing Breton, the Ranger. Super psyched to have Mike back. Special guest. It's awesome.
I feel so special.
That is a long character name.
Wow. And this is Bridget playing Lenore, the cleric of
Good God
Zorica.
mode over
It's
here.
been a while.
Is it like Gozo?
Gozo? No.
Goes
No,
with the
doesn't work.
Gozerian.
For
All right, and
Zorica.
I am Joe. I am the game master. As we continue this Dungeon World campaign, we're going to do a little bit of a recap from our last adventure. Who wants to step up to the plate for that?
I think I'm the only one not eating pickled beans, so it's
guess
probably me.
Mike
Just,
can step up.
for
and
those
take
of you
care
who are listening at home, at this point you are faithful fans. You should just know that we are eating pickled spicy beans from my wife's garden.
Mm-hmm.
I'm chasing them with Fruit Loops that Bridget brought. There's vanilla,
Coke Zero.
Diet Coke Zero, vanilla, and Pringles on the table. And Mike has been belching beef jerky for the last half hour.
I'm not
For
belching
the
it.
record, he
I'm
has
just
not
eating
belched
it.
once.
So
It's just
we just
anytime
want
the
to
bag
create
is
a
open.
scene for you,
It's
so that you'll
ambiance.
feel like you're here in the shed with us.
There's
Also,
there's
Joe,
a lot of smell
for the
going
last
on.
month, has been rocking some fantastic 80s rocker hair, which is
well,
the best thing ever.
Right now, it's just all gelled back this
I love
morning,
it.
but thank you.
I love it.
thank you.
It makes me think Brett Michaels, like 1987.
Really?
Talk dirty to me.
No way.
Well, now, you
He's
talking
Dave
about the
Grohl.
song, or are you asking for
Oh,
something?
even better.
He's got the Dave Grohl look going on.
There you go. I'll accept that, too.
awesome.
I feel like that was enough of a recap
It
right
was,
there.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, beans, hair, and go.
Yeah.
And beef jerky belches.
Yeah, there's that, too.
Without belching.
Without belching. So, Mike, go ahead.
So last time,
You're
we
going to have Kurt doing that within 5 minutes.
we were looking into a wizard's workshop and finally found a pocket dimension, and were able
Pudding
to.
hole.
It was the pudding
It was the pudding hole,
Pudding.
and we were able to use his wand to turn off this magical stone that stopped Laramie from aging uncontrollably.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we went back to town, and there was a harvest
The
festival.
Harvest Festival, where at Valchand, you guys were honored for helping retrieve their stuff from the thieves just a couple of months ago. And you guys hung out. It's been about a month now. Laramie's been feeling better. Instead of the 50-something-year-old, he's probably feeling like a sprightly 30-something-year-old. What was he, 27 or something like
27.
that? Yeah, so he's in his 30s now. He's feeling that way, at least.
Good.
Joe, before we start rolling, I have to make a comment.
Oh, please do.
So we're playing Dungeon World, which I know
Yes,
you
sir.
love.
Yeah.
It's your favorite game.
Well, it's easy,
It is easy.
and I'm all for easy,
Yes.
especially when we're recording.
So you know who else likes Dungeon World?
Me?
Michael Roberts, who runs the Dungeoneers podcast, which I hope
Is
it's
that
okay
Mike
to...
Robertson? Is it the
Mike
same guy?
Robertson.
What'd I say?
Michael Roberts?
It's
Sorry.
close.
Sorry.
Well, he is the son
I went to-
of Mike Roberts.
Well, I went for Michael just to mix it up, so I confused myself.
Yeah, you
That's
did.
cool.
We can give a plug for the Dungeoneers, which I'm doing not
could.
intentionally, but because literally I've been sitting with him for 45 minutes, and I just read his shirt, which says, "This game is easy when you roll 10 plus."
Yeah.
I love it.
Good. That's a cool
I
shot.
love it.
And those shirts are available online, dungeoneerspodcast.com.
I love it. I'm going to
Thank
buy
you.
myself one. Also, I'm just going to say that today's going to be a long day. We got recording all day. I got to go to a party tonight that I may or may not want to go to. So I'm going to fire it up.
Go
I'm
for
going to
it.
fire it up.
Great.
I'm going to take it to 10.
We got Prime Kurt. to the.
So it's going to
I
get
gotta
better?
do it. I
It's
gotta
gonna
do
get better?
it. So if everyone's like, "Wow, Kurt's on fire today,"
Yeah.
You should take it to 11 then.
I might take it to 11.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
So anyway, you guys are together where?
We're at the pit because we're eating all this fine food with the jerky and the beans and all
Yeah,
this
that's
stuff.
a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love.
Brett brought in some beans from the forest,
Okay.
I was out practicing my archery like I do every single day because I'm very disciplined and focused.
He was
I have my
shooting
little spot
beans?
in the wood where I go and I train. And on the way back,
What are your arrows?
it's not that I
look like?
picked the beans from the field. It's that I picked them from the widow Merrymaker, who has very, very nice beans and often likes to give them to me.
Sure, she slips you the
It's
bean.
part of his sneaking practice too.
Yeah. What do your arrows look like? I don't think I've ever asked you that question.
My actual arrows?
Yeah.
Well, so my standard arrow has a nice broad tip, but the back fletchings, I guess is that the word for the the feathers at the back,
Yep.
are colored with blue and silver.
Okay.
Sounds fancy.
And the blue looks unnatural.
How so?
It's not a color that you would easily find in nature from like a feather in the local area.
So is
Loop
it like
blue?
Fruit Loop blue or neon blue or something?
It would be what we in the modern world might think of as like a peacock blue,
Okay.
but it probably does not come from a peacock. So perhaps something in my past has helped me create some of my arrows. Now I may have special arrows that don't look like this, but this is my standard.
Your standard arrow, the one that would be recognized. Okay.
Correct.
And so what have you guys been doing for about the last month?
I've been spending some time with the widow Merrymaker, and
We got
she is
that.
very
Anybody
fun.
else? Anybody else?
I went back to my order in Harak.
Yeah.
Harak. Yes, I went back to my order in Harak.
There's my new ringtone.
And Harak.
Go on.
And visited my house.
Okay.
And then came back to Valchand.
What happened there?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Just
a
checking
visit.
up.
Cult,
Visit.
cult business as usual.
I believe
It's
I
not
might have gone
a
with
cult.
her, and that's why I'm feeling much
You should
better.
get some shirts made. It's not
Yeah.
a cult.
Brought him for some rejuvenation treatments.
So spa day for
Yeah, we had a spa day.
Spa day
a
in
spa
Harak.
month.
I mean, it's super gross, but there's a lot of blood involved. But yeah, I feel much better.
complete.
Brenton's been getting some crow's feet around the eyes. Maybe he needs to go back to Harak with you next time you go.
Could be.
So get a nice facial. Not that kind of facial, you silly girl.
Bukkake party.
We went there.
Okay, so now we know what Uriel's been doing for a month. A lot of build up.
Oh.
I would say Prometheus and I have been trying to, look into the information we found last time to see if we can find any information about the weapon that Jolly Gerald might have been looking for or trying to create, or pieces of something to figure out if we could
Any
forge
success?
it somehow. No, we're lost on that right now.
All right, so that makes sense because that's something that will come up eventually. That whole Gerald was working on something. We know it. You have some of his notes, and you found some stuff from the Wizard's Workshop. Yeah. One morning, well, you guys are at the pig eating. So it's not one morning. It's this morning. It's today. You guys are there today.
Nom, nom.
What's her name?
I'm in the pig every day for
As
breakfast.
we established last time, there's Wendy, half-elf server at the pig. She comes over to the table and she's speaking in a hushed voice and mainly talking to Breton, but everyone can hear her. And she's like, "What did you do? We just got news. They're putting up a poster outside. You killed someone?"
Oh, come on, Breton.
Well, I mean, it's not the first time
Man.
he's killed somebody, right? I mean, come on.
And Kurt's choking on a pickled bean as I say that.
I killed someone?
Yeah, the princess, the elven princess. You got to see the poster.
You killed a princess?
Oh, come on.
I mean, I may have, but I don't recall, so I better go check out this poster and see what it says.
I may have, but I don't.
I mean, I've done
recall.
many things of which I am not proud, but I don't think I have recently killed an elven princess.
So the poster outside says "Wanted," Breton, and then parentheses Ranger, because that's your last name, I guess.
Knobloch.
Oh, that's right. So it says that then.
He's got a name.
He actually has a last name. Wanted for the death of and it has the elven princess's name. I didn't come up with a name yet. If anyone has a good name for an elven princess who is in the woods just outside of Harak.
How about Irulan?
Irulan?
Yeah.
I can do that. I'm putting 2 A's at the beginning because that makes sense to me.
Right.
So the elven princess Irulan found murdered, and it has a description of some unnaturally blue-fletched arrows found in her back.
And she was found where?
Found
say?
in the woods in her kingdom last week. And this poster is issued from the authorities in Harak.
Dang, man. You love
What
going
the
in
heck?
the woods.
I do, and I love me some blue arrows, but I don't think I killed.
They're suspiciously
Do you
blue.
black out sometimes? Just not remember what
And that's
happened?
weird because we were in Harak, and we didn't hear any. She was fine when we left.
Sounds like some fishy business.
Well, how much is the reward?
I don't know that we ever actually established who was in charge of the authorities in Harak, but they do have the city guard. And that is who has offered a reward for Breton's return of 1,000 coins.
Especially because you've done jail time in that town for a forgery already.
That's how they knew who he was and what his arrows looked like, too.
They had his police sketch already.
Right.
He's on the list.
They had his stuff in the evidence locker, and they had to give it back to him. So they know all of what his stuff looks like.
Why would someone in Harak be wanting to frame me? I mean, I didn't do this. I would tell you if I did.
Well, you just said you didn't
slept
know.
with their wife.
Where was the body found?
Right outside of her home in the woods in her kingdom. You call it the kingdom. It's just a couple 100 acres of woods that this elven family has owned forever.
Is this a family you know? And are any business dealings or social?
You've been around the area for sure, Breton, because you go out into the woods. You just spend more time in the city protecting them from the woods, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
You would recognize it.
Yeah, being a princess is someone that I know of, and
Yeah.
our paths certainly crossed, but she's not someone with whom I'm close.
I mean, have you been seen together recently?
Not recently, no.
Only a couple weeks ago when I gave her some shooting in the back lessons.
Just a tip.
Just a tip. A broad tip.
Why would I want to shoot an elven princess? Like, what purpose would that serve?
I don't know. Why would you want to shoot?
Yeah, tell us.
I wouldn't. I've got the Widow Merrymaker keeping me happy.
Crimes
I've
of
got
passion
coins in
are,
my
you know.
pocket from our recent exploits.
Never know. Well, if this is a frame-up, then, it could be along the lines of the forgery thing. Maybe somebody's still pissed off at you. I don't know. It's possible. What else did you do? You do anything else in town when we were there?
I mean, I drank some ale, and I played some cards, and I
Killed some
shot for
people.
some weapons, but I did not kill any elven princesses.
So we're going to call this Wild Mist Forest, and that is the home of this elven family. By elven family, it is a big group, several hundred, and they've just, since they live practically forever, they've been in this area for thousands of years. This family has.
No, this is separate from Harak.
This is outside
near
of Harak,
there,
like a day's travel outside of Harak by foot.
So we have to go through Harak, up and over the mountains to get there?
You can go around. You can go over one of the mountains,
Okay.
or around one of the mountains. You can cup one of the mountains as you go past.
Okay, just
Yeah.
wanted to check.
A little side mountain action.
Yes. Side rack. a full rack. Harak.
About half a rack worth.
Half a rack. Yeah,
So,
you
was
took half
was
a
she
rack.
married, the princess?
No, she was not.
She young or old by elven terms?
Do we know?
She looks. She looked like she was in her 20s, which means she's probably about 200 or so.
Okay.
Could even be.
Seems
I wonder
a little old
if
for Breton.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
she
maybe-
didn't look or act or feel old.
Does she have any brothers?
Yes.
like, did you do something to offend the family, and maybe they just want to get rid of you somehow?
Y'all, I would tell you if I did, but to be honest, I have passed through there. Why am I talking like Laramie?
Exactly.
I have
As soon as Mike
only
started,
better.
I have
Yeah.
passed through there repeatedly because that's what I do when I'm ranging, but I do not have a particularly strong bond with this particular clan or with the princess, and this is...
So how
I
long?
can't think of any possible connection that would lead to me.
How long
would
was-
lead me to be committed
has-
to murder?
The body was found recently, or
a
has it
couple
been
weeks
dead?
ago.
Oh,
The date is from about 2 weeks ago.
and when was the body found? Like quickly after it was dead.
Well,
or
the
was it
elves
sitting around for a
the
while?
elves recognized the arrows and reported it to Harak immediately because Harak has jurisdiction over non-elf people.
Ah.
And he's a non-elf person.
All right, gotcha.
Now, can I say a brief prayer of guidance to my deity, Josiah, and see if my friend Breton is evil?
Well, that's an interesting approach. Sure.
Because I can ask, what
Yep.
here is evil?
And what part is that again?
It is over on the human race
Yes,
side.
it is the race piece. All right, so for the paladin, when you pray for guidance, you get to find out what is evil.
I'm not evil.
What here is evil?
Is he any more evil than he was before?
There's a man sitting in the corner who runs a local jewelry shop, and he comes off as evil vibes to you.
All right. I'll keep an eye on that fella.
And it's somebody that you've all seen, but apparently he's not a good person, apparently, because Josiah says so.
Yeah. I always thought that Jeremy the jeweler was sort of evil.
Kind of shifty.
He
He did seem shifty.
Jeremy the jeweler.
We're going to come back and
We'll
get
put a
him.
pin in that one.
Yep, he gets a pin now. He is now part of the official document. So aside from that, there's nothing evil within your aura at this point. Anything you can see.
I
hear,
am
touch.
not evil. I told you, Laramie. Why do you not believe me?
Well, I mean, in my experience, the people that say they're not evil are usually top of the evil
most
list.
evil.
I told
It's
you I
like
was
saying it's not a cult.
Yeah.
It's like that. not
Right, yeah.
I told you that I like to drink and gamble and perhaps whore a little bit, but that doesn't make me evil.
Well, to a paladin, maybe.
Well-
That could be exactly what does make you evil.
I am supposed to deny mercy to criminals.
So, Wendy tells you, look, the sheriff's going to be by at any minute, and it's his duty. He's going to have to arrest you if you're around. You should probably vanish soon, like real soon, before you get in trouble. Remember, you and Wendy got a thing, so she's giving you this heads up before somebody starts shouting, "He's over there!"
Yeah, you got any disguise action going on over there, man?
He can sound like Laramie.
So are we
I
supposed to
don't
go
know
on the
what
run, or
you're
are we supposed to
talking
go to Harak and talk to these elves?
I think we need to go talk to those elves.
Although, if
Although-
he stands
Well,
still,
although
doesn't
that
he
seems
just
like a bad
disappear?
idea. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I mean, he could. I don't know.
It's not necessarily the elves' fault. They found my arrows, or arrows that look like mine.
Yeah.
Seems like perhaps if there's a setup, it's coming from within Harak, or whoever perpetrated this crime.
Who do you buy your arrows
what?
from?
The Crom?
Perpetrated the crime.
The Crom.
Perpetrator
Crime.
of this
Crime.
crime.
And that's Conan's god. Crom. Who perpetrated Crom? And the last thing I'll mention is, Breton, it does jog your memory some. It would be going back probably a couple months now when you were let out of jail for your impersonating a noble. You were short a couple arrows.
It's a cover-up. It's a
I mean, I generally
conspiracy.
make my own arrows.
Yeah.
So
And it's probably one of those things where maybe you got your stuff back from the authorities, and you had 7 arrows instead of 9, and it just didn't really. Maybe I shot a princess or something, and who knows where the arrows went.
You know, it happens all the time.
It just happens. It's just random. But it jogs your memory now that you're definitely. A few months ago, you were definitely short a couple arrows.
well, it seems like we would need to go.
Damn it!
It seems like we would need to go speak. I'm not going to
Talk
have a
like
talk
a
with
robot.
Laramie here.
Breton's going to have
With-
great alliteration
With
today.
the jailer or the sheriff or someone back at Harak who had kept me.
So
Sorry,
now-
the spicy beef jerky is
Could
getting
be anybody.
So now, though, one thing to keep in mind is there are posters. And there's a poster in the small town of Valshand. There are probably going to be things up along the trip to Harak. So anybody
We have
you
to stay
pass
off the
may
road.
recognize you. And
Perhaps
trying
you
to
should
just get
collect
into
them.
Harak to talk to somebody might be a problem without you being, arrested for the murder of an elven princess.
We're going to have to disguise you somehow.
As I was going to say, as Laramie said, when I stay still in natural surroundings, the enemies never spot me until I make a movement. So I'm going to go sit down by the stream and just not move.
And this is funny
For the
because
next hour.
I deliberately chose to put Breton in the spotlight because you were quiet in the last session, and now I'm putting you in a situation where you're not going to do anything.
I'm just going to sit.
I'm going to be a plant.
like a statue of Buddha or Josiah.
That's awesome.
And not move for the next hour.
So no go, Joe.
But we got to get going because
Yeah.
if they ask me questions, I can't lie. So
Here's a good point.
so I got to get going.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, and we'll stick with that. By the way, Mike, we'll stick with that same quest from last time.
Sounds good.
All right. So the paladin in the game, when he's on a quest, he gets to do stuff, and he has to call it penalties or things he has to maintain while he's on this quest. And one of the things that Laramie has to do is he may not lie. He must tell the truth while he's on this quest. In this case, the quest will be to either implicate or clear Breton's name, one or the other.
Well, Uriel, as you may or may not recall, I've guided you before, and you owe me for it, which is
snap.
one of my bonds. So I'm in a time of trouble. I need you to help me decide what we should do to deal with the situation.
Well, we need to disguise you somehow. Or we stay off the road on the way to Iraq. Which is going to take us longer if we go that route.
And you bring up a good point with the whole bonds thing. Anytime you keep an eye on what bonds you have on your sheet, but also anytime you want to write a new one in because an idea hits you. Remember, it's a way to get an extra plus when you're aiding or interfering. It's the only place that's used. And it's also a way that it brings the characters together. So I like it. Do that. So how are you going to do this? Let's say you're going to leave Valshan now and take a trip to Harak, which is almost surely going to be a perilous journey. Because
Surely.
people are on the lookout for one.
Perhaps we should suit you up in some
outlaw.
armor that we have at the smithy. I know it's not your thing, but you got to cover your face and make it look like it's not you. You should probably just dump your bow and pile arrows, too.
Or put your arrows in upside down so the fletching is in the quiver.
Or you could just always just wrap a blanket around you.
Like a mummy?
Who's that guy? Who's that guy with the blanket?
I mean, no one ever
Old
suspects
woman.
the
I mean,
mummy.
man.
I mean, man, I'm 37.
Maybe we could get a local witch to disguise me as, say, a 22-year-old woman.
How could that possibly go wrong? I think it's a great idea.
Maybe we could just wrap you up and pretend you're dead,
Yeah,
and
but
just transport the body. Say we're transporting a body. You just lay there and be dead.
It's up to y'all.
that would
Just
get us
give
into
you a
your
fake
place. That would get us into your place.
Yeah, and get them to at least
the
I
cult.
like-
the
like the
order
idea.
in Harak.
We're going to
and
do
you
that.
can hide there.
All right, so that's decided. Breton's going to be wrapped up as a dead person, which means the other three have to take the roles of the perilous journey.
Oh, man.
All right.
That
So
all
you
sounds
do not
good.
have the Ranger as a scout, which I think is great.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that whole perilous
Immolators
journey
are great
Wait.
scouts.
Yeah.
I guess I'll trailblaze.
All right, so we have the Trailblazer, the Quartermaster, and the way we're going to treat the Quartermaster for this one, by the way, is if the Quartermaster fails, everyone will arrive at Harak with a -1 ongoing for everything you do, because you'll be very hungry.
Uh-oh. Better not
So I
fail
want to make the
Quartermaster.
Quartermaster relevant immediately.
All right, I'll be quartermaster.
And she's got the
Is it
Mandalay
wisdom?
Bay dice.
Yeah, it's always-
yeah.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
the
I'll be
perilous journey is
Quartermaster.
always wisdom.
So,
So
so I'm scouting, right?
5, 6, 7, 8.
I have
All
an
right,
8.
let me start with the Scout.
Okay, I have an 8.
8. All right. And then the Trailblazer.
I have 9.
Okay. And then the Quartermaster.
8.
Okay.
I sort of picture that all the food that she makes is like really raw. Like really bloody.
It's old beef jerky.
Could be. Either that or it all has some kind of spikes in it. It hurts to eat it, maybe.
Ooh.
Make it like painfully spicy.
Yeah.
It's like the
I like hot stuff.
toast that grates the roof of your mouth.
So here's the way I want to play this because I want to get something to just happen and get through it. At one point during your trip to Harak, which is a 2-day trip, if I remember right, I'm going to call it 2 days now. There's at some point Breton's got to get up to eat, use a bathroom, something. You're recognized by a traveling merchant, one guy with a wagon and a horse. How do you handle it when he recognizes you and say, "Hey, you're wanted. I could get a reward."
Yeah, we're taking him in the town. Fuck off.
He's ours.
Dang, man. Language.
That's not the language, just the immediate.
I am
Do you
the
want to fight
hothead.
an emulator
This
for
is
me?
funny. This is so funny. So what? I mean, you're just gonna
Yeah, I just kind of like stand and get in
Shout
the way.
him
Like,
down?
yeah.
let's
Perhaps if
mean-
you look at my authority here, you back off a little bit.
There's a lot of money involved. So just shouting at this guy as a merchant, he wants.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big dude, so
So-
I'm trying to like just
So we're gonna
Curse
His face.
dripping on me.
spicy liquids.
Ugh.
So we're gonna treat this as he could still try and run off and say something.
Oh, totally.
How
yeah,
are
yeah.
you going to stop him from running off? We're going to get a roll out of this. And this is collaborative because, I mean, at this point, Breton is up, probably just shook the weasel, whatever it was that had to happen, that he got out of the body bag for a couple minutes.
I could do hold person.
Right?
You
I
could, but...
use I am the
yeah.
law as well.
So what do we want to do?
What does that do? Mike?
Collaborative.
Does he have a wagon or something?
Yeah, it's a
or
wagon
all
and a
many
horse.
wagons.
It's one way. It's one guy with one horse and a small wagon behind him.
I want to disable the wagon, or let the horse go.
I mean,
Okay.
that seems real strong. I could just tell him that I have authority over this convict, and
That doesn't stop him from talking.
well,
no, but depending on how the
just say
paladin
move
handles
along,
it,
and
it
he
might.
can do what
Yeah,
I
okay.
say.
Yeah,
All right.
it depends
What
on how
does
the
hold
roll
the-
goes.
I think
I'm the
that's
law do.
the least violent idea.
I give an order based on my divine authority, and on a 7+, they choose one. They do what I say. They back away cautiously, then flee, or they attack me. And on 10+, you take +1 forward against them. On a miss, they do as they please, and you take -1 forward against them.
That sounds like a good first attempt, and Euro
Yeah.
should be ready to just.
To kill him, otherwise.
Well, I have something similar I can do.
Right.
To that.
So this is part of what I like to think of, because I like to think of both sides of the situation. If you guys were traveling and you saw somebody going in the other direction that you knew was wanted for murder, how would you have handled it? You'd probably just grab them and take them, or
Probably.
Well, if it's modern day, we're just going to be a good witness
Call
and make a phone call,
911.
right? Yeah,
but
be a
yeah,
good
but in
witness.
this world, right?
Right?
this
Yeah,
is
we're
different.
going to try to
Yeah.
do something about it. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. This guy wants to take
Right.
the
Oh yeah,
convict,
he
right?
wants the monies.
Oh, he wants the dollars. So go for it, Mr. Palladino.
Oh,
Critical hit!
12 on the dice.
Wow.
That is 2 6s. So
Dude, that guy is not only going to not arrest me, he's going to. Well, I was going to say something dirty related to Laramie, but he's going to love Laramie a lot.
Laramie doesn't do dirty things.
so he does recognize you have a symbol. When you were motioning it, you were pointing like at your shoulder.
Yeah, I have the symbol of
Oh.
Josiah.
All right.
That's a bean.
So he does recognize you as a paladin of Josiah, knowing you will do the right thing. And he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't notice. Clearly, you've got it under control.
Absolutely, sir.
There's nothing more to see here. Move along, move along. I guess I'll just go.
Yeah,
do I
yeah,
keep
no
eating
problem,
them?
sir.
All right.
You have a nice trip.
Little do you know, you probably just saved his life.
Probably.
I wasn't going to kill him.
Not completely.
You're just going to burn him a little.
give him a-
Make him a
give
little
him a
Make it so he
crispy.
couldn't talk.
Give him a good suntan.
All right. So that's over. You guys get to Harak. You're able to get the body bag into the not cult.
Let's
By
make
the
it
body
realistic,
bag.
so we're just really throwing it in there and just
By the
bouncing
body
around.
bag, you mean me, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So you get in there. Now what?
Well, I'll speak with the head of my order and let him know what's going on, and that this is a trusted friend of mine who's been accused of this murder, and she'll hide him for a little bit.
Yeah. And as soon as he is uncovered, they recognize who it is because he's been there. I think you've been there before.
I have.
I know you've been
Think,
around
yeah.
the town, but I'm pretty sure you've been to her order before. too.
But yeah, I mean they know me and they know you, so
There
they
are
know-
one or two younger occultists who might look at Breton a little bit. A little
You are the dog, sir.
bit of a knowing look.
well, even better, then they'll have more reason to hide you.
So they do that. What's your next step in Harak?
We need to find
But
out.
sorry, you have to wear a dress
He's
for,
not.
for a little while.
He's not.
As long as they like it.
Perhaps we visit the jail.
Yeah, we need to find out if your people have any connections with city officials to see what information they have on the case or investigation.
Short answer is yes. Bridget, you can determine what the connections might be. As a house of healing, there's always connections with city officials. It's like you're like a hospital. You definitely have at least administrative connections with the city.
Well, I mean, we've gone to every place in the city to give medical aid.
And it was just 2 to 3 months ago that you helped with the Savannah fever around the city. Your cult was
Plus delivering
order
babies.
was very instrumental in helping people recover from that.
Right.
Nobody who visited your order died. The only people who died were people who didn't visit. So that's why you were given a promotion.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Hey, you know.
We also need to check the rumor mill to see if there's any city officials that were hanging around with the princess. Maybe something happened and they're like, oh, we need to cover this up.
So let's do this as a collaborative discern realities role. It sounds like you're going to look around the city, and I want to expedite what we're doing.
Yes,
so
yes,
rather
yes.
than go find individual people, we'll just treat this as a mini montage.
Montage action.
Do I get to discern realities?
You're there, and you can talk to the people within the order.
Okay.
Well, as they're making other noises, you can talk to them.
What's the modifier?
Wisdom.
This is your wisdom because it is a discern realities role. So here's what I want to do.
Kevin.
This is something I haven't done in a while, and I want to try this again. Everyone roll, and then take the best 2 dice out of everybody's. So I'm gonna now that I've said that, I'm gonna ask everyone to do it again. Everyone roll one more time, and your better of your 2 dice. I see a 6 and a 6 over here between Mike and Chris.
Yeah.
He's at 6.
I've got
I got a 4 and a
12
2.
Okay, so the best dice give us a full 12 to work with, which means what I'll do is I'll let everybody ask one question. It doesn't have to be from the Discern Realities, but that's an easy place to start. But you get one question that I will answer truthfully based on the situation going on. Anybody have one they want to ask already?
Who's really in control here?
Who's really in control here? There is unrest between the Elven family in Wild Mist and one of the noble houses in Harak. And the noble house in Harak has been wanting to develop some of the land in Wild Mist, and the elves don't want that. So there's been a fair amount of unrest in that, the relationship. They had typically, over the years, they've been good friends. There's never really been any conflict in any human's recent memory. There's never been any conflict with the elves in Wild Mist. But just recently, there's that one noble house that you hear of that has been having a problem there.
What should we be on the lookout for?
Let me, before we do that, does anybody want to give a name to this noble house in Harak?
The House of Hawthorne.
Hawthorne, okay. So the Hawthorne house is a noble house in Harak. They are the real estate owner house. They own most of the land in Harak, and they want to expand.
But they previously have been on good terms with this.
Yeah,
land.
it's like so as far as who is in control, and again we'll go around the situation that's happening. In the last year, the eldest Hawthorne died, and the youngest took over, and they're trying to branch out. That person wants more money. Go ahead, Kurt. You had a question.
I
Or
think
the
it was,
next question.
What are we going to be on? What should we be on the lookout for?
Okay. Aside from the obvious authorities, there are going to be a fair amount of bounty hunters looking for you guys as well. And by fair amount, I'm going to say just what you hear, especially because Britain isn't necessarily a bounty hunter, but you work kind of as a mercenary-ish role.
For the right people.
Yeah, but I would say it seems like half your work might be pro bono, right? You're just helping people out. You take enough money to live. So you already know some of the circles of people who get paid money to do stuff, and that circle is abuzz with looking for you. One of the non-cult girls that you're spending a few extra minutes with, wink, wink.
Extra 90 seconds.
Yeah.
90 seconds of heaven.
Yeah, she mentions that there are extra people out there over the last week, specifically looking for you. They've been walking around every business looking, especially that stationery shop where you were seen with a parrot. I think it was a parrot.
It was a parrot.
Yeah.
From the sound of it, it sounds like most of Breton's work is pro boner instead of pro bono.
There's the laugh track.
Just a tip.
Mike or Chris, you have a question?
What here is not what it appears to be.
Mike, what's your question? I may need to get back to that.
I was going to say something more like, would this house have the ability to get stuff from the guards, like get those arrows from, or would that not be something typical?
So one of the things within Iraq is every public office and service comes from the noble houses. So the actual council is somebody sitting from each noble house, and every service, one of the houses runs it, or multiple houses runs it. So there are definitely connections. Yes,
Okay.
without a doubt. And if this house doesn't have the connection, they know the people in the next house who does. It's a big family-run organization, as it were. They're in the waste management business.
All right.
All right, and ask me one more time, Chris.
What here is not what it appears to be. And my thought process was leaning more towards, does one of the noble family members, I know they had the whole business, but is there a family member that maybe had a secret relationship with the...
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there is coming up in one of the academies, the Bloomfield Preparatory Academy. There's a young half-elf of unknown origin who has been excelling in the academy, and there's been a lot of talk about how that's actually one of Hawthorne's kids, and there was a secret affair with one of the wild mist elves.
Okay. Half-elf Hawthorne.
Half-elf Hawthorne. That's fun to say. All right, so now you've got some information to work with. What do you want for your next steps? And I know, Brett, you can stand perfectly still anywhere and nobody can notice you. But
Only in the wild.
I'd like you to act.
Only in the wild.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do it.
Yeah, is there anything the order can do? Try to disguise. I mean, I know we can just do
And
like costuming and makeup kind of thing.
Realistically, we can just do a disguise as a defy danger with charisma roll at any given time.
And
I mean, he's wearing a dress.
I was going to say very
With-
charismatic, but I'm actually not.
And in reality, depending on who does it, if you want to do it smartly, you could use intelligence. We could always come up with something. I just can't see strength being a good disguise, unless you're walking around flexing the whole time.
I mean, I could just punch him a bunch. That would disguise.
He's all lumpy and bruised. A key thing, though, is don't carry your arrows around.
Could we have me bandaged as like a plague victim or someone with sickness who's kind of
there's always a leper.
Maybe still recovering from the fever.
Yeah.
You had some damage to your skin.
Yeah, I think that would be easier than trying to hide my masculine nature.
Yes. We'll just kind of mum you up.
Not that he's not comfortable with that.
I could blacken up your skin if you want.
All right, who's going to make that roll? It sounds like it would be natural for Lenore to do it because it's bandaging at the Not Cult. Did we come up with a name for it yet?
It's the infirmary.
Yeah, but the order that you're in, is there an
Order of
actual
Zoraika.
name?
Zoraika.
Yeah. Is that what you call yourself? The infirmary of the Order of
No,
Zoraika?
no. It's just the infirmary.
So it's like the sign just says library or infirmary.
Yeah, or the infirmary.
Yeah.
The infirmary.
All right.
The only
I don't think we'd
infirmary.
ever established that. So, all right. That's good to know.
It's just the
So
infirmary.
you're from the infirmary.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
And maybe a symbol of Zoraika above it.
Yeah, something like that. But they wouldn't know it's just a decoration for everybody else.
And it's like one of those statues that's always bleeding. It's weeping tears.
It's made out of steel or iron so that it rusts. So that it looks rusty.
Like it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's neat. All right. So describe what you're going to do.
I am going to make sure that you look like you're a victim of some illness that's recovering and is bandaged partially. Enough that it would
hide my
disguise you, but you can still function and you can eat and see and breathe.
That all sounds
and all
good.
that.
Go for it. What?
And you're wearing a dress. You are definitely wearing a dress.
This game is easy if you roll 10+.
Sure
Is it?
And I get no royalties from that.
I don't. What am I rolling?
You are going to roll. It sounds like a good wisdom roll to me. Because you're drawing
I'm
on
thinking.
your past experiences.
Wow.
Oh no.
6.
That's not good.
That's not good.
Mark an XP.
Fucking Mandalay
so
Bay. I'm not using these dice.
Take a poker chip.
Not good
They're
for
behind
anything.
you.
So seriously, I could
Underneath
burn your
the
skin if
coasters.
you want me to.
I'm not using
So on
Mandalay
this failure,
Bay dice.
does everyone else get to look at me and say, "Dude, this is not a good disguise," and we get
Yeah.
to try again?
Oh, that's totally you.
No, the failure is something bad's going to happen. But the disguise is fine.
You
Okay.
look perfect.
You look perfect. Yeah, this isn't like you failed to pick
So
the lock.
remind me on Dungeon World, what's the difference between the 6 and if we had gotten a 7?
A
7 would be
seven-
succeed with complication.
Yes, exactly.
What is 6?
A
Means
6 is you
outright
just
failure.
outright fail. However, in this case, you can't fail to put a bandage on somebody, right? So you're still going to be wrapped up. What it means for me is something happens in the story that is not good for the party.
Okay.
So, like, someone's going to recognize you anyway.
Or it falls
Possibly.
off, it gets pulled off easy.
Possibly.
Or something.
Or she wound you up too tight and you can't
Right.
move your arms.
I'm not bandaging his
You're gonna do
arms.
some
He's
circular
wearing a
Worse than
dress.
what would have happened if she'd rolled a 7?
Somebody looks up your dress and finds out.
I just had the worst giveaway for him. He gets a boner while he's wearing the dress, and
He
people
wasn't
are
wrapped
like,
tight enough. Yeah.
Didn't bend it back far enough.
So you're ready to go out into town. What do you want to do? What's your next step?
We need to talk to the Hawthorne family.
Yeah.
Or, well, yeah, that's probably the best thing to do.
I'm perfectly willing for anyone to say that they know the Hawthorns, and if so, how? If not,
well, the order's been in every house.
yeah.
So
Probably-
I haven't
You might have
personally
delivered
been,
that half.
Yeah,
half
it's very
baby.
possible.
I haven't personally been in that house, but
Okay.
you know, someone's been there at some point, especially with the fever coming through.
Do you have a good reason to bring a plague victim there?
Yeah, that's the real trick.
No.
So how do you want to handle it? I'm fine with going to talk to them, and I'm fine with anyone doing it.
He has
I just wanna
amnesia,
make it happen.
and
I'm
we're
happy to
going
just
door to
stay-
door
I'm happy to stay at
trying
the
to
infirmary
see
and
if
get
it
slug
jogs his
baths.
memory.
You could do that.
How about you have amnesia,
I mean,
and we're bringing you to the different houses to see if anyone, or to see if you recognize your house.
or if they recognize me.
Well, I don't want to.
Well,
I don't want
the
people
idea
to
is to
recognize
not-
you.
they're gonna
Yeah.
recognize you.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. Okay,
I don't know.
sure.
Maybe
fine.
that's not probably a good
every,
idea.
Every busy street corner has that section with advertisements, posters, what have you, and your description is up there on every one of them.
awesome.
Yeah, so there's a
It's a
clear
good thing
thing.
I'm so well wrapped up because the infirmary does such a great job.
The as you're walking around too, there are messenger boys and girls in Harak that go out and update posters. And as you guys are walking around, somebody's going and changing the 1,000 to 2,000. Apparently, the bounty has increased. So every poster you're walking by either has a 1 or a 2.
I told y'all I was valuable.
If that gets up to 5, I'm turning you in, man. I'm sorry.
I would do the same.
I mean, we'll get you out later, but you know.
If you turn yourself in, do you get the reward?
How about you turn me in? We split the reward,
All right.
and then you get me out.
We
Okay.
get the bail. Yeah, we'll bail you out.
I mean, that's a good option, I guess.
But, all right, so are we going to go with the amnesia plan or something
No,
different?
I don't like
What's
the
the-
amnesia
all right.
plan now.
You forgot it already.
Maybe he should just
I
hang
forgot.
out in the alley, like by the house.
But you want to talk to the Hawthorns. Who's going to be the person to do the talking? Because you can get there. The infirmary representative can get you into the
I'll
uptown.
just say that we're going around making sure there's no further treatments needed or complications. We're just doing more house calls to keep people from being exposed again to illness while they're still recovering.
Okay, so you guys get there. What do? You're at the Hawthorne house ready to knock on the door. And we're going to say at this point that Breton's either around the corner. Well, I'm going to say that. You're there, just around the corner. You're waiting to see what happens.
Can we find out who? Because we want to be able to talk to the parent of this half-elf child. That's who we really want to talk to.
As far as you know, if all that is true, it was the eldest Hawthorne who died recently.
It was his child.
Yeah, recently, like what was it, a year ago?
So we got the person that took over, right?
If the stories are true, then yes.
I guess we're talking to the guy that took over.
I mean, if I go in there, it's going to have to be pretty straightforward because there's not going to be like we're checking in on
Yeah.
like plague victims because I
He
can't say
yeah,
that.
he can't even nod while you're saying that.
Wow.
Well, we could always work it like, that lets them in that we know what's up with them. If we say, hey, we're investigating this case about the
I mean, we
the dead princess.
Yeah, elven princess
possibly
murder.
just read their reactions.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You kind of.
I mean, that seems good.
All right, so we're doing that. Who's gonna do the talking?
Like, we can basically just say, like, we know it was you. You did this, and, like, see what happens. We could try to out them and then see if they react to it.
So
But then that puts us all on the pile with him.
Sure.
Yep.
If we do that.
So who's going to do the talking? I'm going to call this, at least the way it's described right now, there'll be a charisma roll. I'll let you guys pick who does the talking.
I have no charisma.
That's good. I can do it.
Yeah.
And he's got to be truthful.
Why, hello, sir. I am Laramie Burnsteel, paladin of the great Josiah. Go, Joe.
Okay. Now, the servants bring Eric Hawthorne, who is the current boss of the family. It's probably the wrong word to use because it's not really like a mafia kind of thing. He's the current
Head of the household.
Head of the household, yeah.
Sir, we we don't mean to bother you too much, but we were looking into the death of Arelon, the elven princess.
Okay.
And we have reason to believe that you might know a little bit about their family, and thus may have some information on what may have happened to this young lady.
All right, let's make the roll. Let's see what happens. That's another success.
Nice.
10. What's your charisma? It's not like
Zero.
-6, right? Okay. Because -6 would be bad. When you mention it, he glances between you and says, I have nothing to say, and he closes the
Well,
door.
before he closes the door, I want to stick my foot in there and say, what fuels the flames of your desire?
Let's see if you can make this
Strength?
try danger with dexterity roll first.
Dexterity?
'Cause
Okay.
To get your foot in there's a fast
Okay,
move.
I got you. That'll be a 13. As best as I can get it.
All right.
Yeah, boy.
So you got that. Now read me the what fuels the flames of your desire again so I can make sure I answer you correctly.
When you gaze intense into someone's eyes, he asks the player what fuels the flames of your desire. They'll answer the truth, even if the character does not know or would otherwise keep this hidden. That doesn't mean he's going to out himself as a murderer,
Right.
but I mean, it could out himself as something secret.
He tells you, I need to keep what's mine in the family. No outsiders will get it. And he kicks your foot and closes the door.
Well,
So, he doesn't want to have anything to do with that line of questioning.
so does that child, the half-elven child, live in this household?
The idea, by the way, is he didn't like that, and he
Oh, right.
kind of
Yeah.
implicates himself.
Right.
You were successful, Mike. Your role was successful. But he's not going to say, yes, I did it, blah, blah. He's just
Of
going to
course.
say, nope, go away.
I think that elven child lives at the academy.
I was going to say,
At Bloomfield, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when they leave, where do they go? I mean,
Maybe
do
they
come
stay
to this
there.
hold? Do they go to
Like
the elf?
Hogwarts.
Come to Hawthorne, or does it go?
Yeah,
to
but
the-
eventually, do they go to Hawthorne or do they go to the
it's just a day
Wilderness?
school. I
This-
mean, they go back
This
and
half-
forth.
This half-elven child, you guys heard a secret that it is probably the child of the elder Hawthorne who died.
Right.
This is not somebody welcome in the Hawthorne house. Right? It wouldn't be a kid who goes back home here. He probably lives in an orphanage or something. Or maybe he lives at Bloomfield if they have any kind of housing. As long as Bloomfield has housing, that's where he's living.
I'm not very sneaky, but could maybe one of you sneak into the house and see if maybe, like, if they took multiple arrows, maybe he has another one of your arrows, and then that could be case closed.
Well, she was found with a couple in her back, right?
Yeah,
They probably used
That's
all
the
of them.
two, yeah.
probably.
I mean, there could be correspondence, too.
So now you have this information. You guys regroup wherever, but somewhere out of the public eye, and you decide what your next step is.
I think we need to get the wild mist elves on our side.
Okay.
Might be a good idea to say, hey, look, we know there's this child, and this is what probably happened, and this person did it, and see if they want to do something
I think
about it.
Laramie might be right too. It might make sense to do some kind of eavesdropping or reconnaissance in the Hawthorne house. Maybe we could split the party.
Well, we can just do that part quick. Who's going to do that?
Well, I mean, I know for a
I kind of
fact
stand out with bright red hair, and I'm
Brett
kind of
shouldn't be out with those elves because they're going to kill him immediately.
And I am pretty sneaky, so even though I am wrapped up, maybe I could
So you're going to do a little eavesdropping?
eavesdropping,
Go for it.
reconnoitering, if you will.
Give me a defy danger with dexterity roll. Because you're going to try and sneak up to a window or something outside where you should be able to hear him inside based on what you've known.
So I've got +3 on dexterity, and I rolled an 8, so 11.
11. You do hear the same voice, so it's Eric Hawthorne talking to somebody, a voice you don't recognize, a female voice, and he's telling her somebody knows what happened. So he's, again, implicating himself here. And I'm going, for the sake of trying to make an episode out of this and have the adventure happen, I'm just going to get straightforward with it. He's implicating himself. He's the dude. Either he is directly responsible or indirectly responsible, but he apparently pulled the trigger on whatever Bo shot her.
Well, it sounds like since he's trying to get me killed for murder, that maybe we should threaten to burn him at the stake.
Or we put pressure on the female he's talking to, and she breaks. And I'm all about putting pressure on things.
Especially females.
Wait, what? That's his job.
I mean, we still need evidence. Like, we
Well-
can't just grill someone over a conversation.
Right, but they might decide to like turn themselves in, like, hey, we can't take this, you know.
Maybe
Secrets get heavy over
Eric
time.
Hawthorne teaches at the academy, so he has to go out at some point, and
Okay.
Sarah Hawthorne is home alone.
Or we, like I say, we get the elves on our side, like, hey, we're going to tell the elves what's up, and,
I like that.
and then
I
you're
like
never
the
going to get that
elf
land,
idea.
buddy. You're never going to get it.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose money like crazy.
So the Hawthorns are involved with the academy already. Yes. That actually was something a long time ago when you named Sigrun and Brinton as the people that run the academy. Hawthorne was one of the people that worked there.
Ah.
So there is a Hawthorne there. It's convenient that it's Eric.
Okay.
So he'll be there
Convenient.
probably tomorrow because class is closed for today.
So then, elves,
You want to go talk to the Wild Mist
talk
elves?
to the Wild Mist elves and
Works.
tell them that our friend is being framed, and we know who's doing it.
Yep.
Perhaps,
And then we'll
And
see what
why
their
they're
action,
doing
then we'll
it.
see what their action
Yeah.
is.
perhaps while they're doing that, we could keep an eye on Eric just to see if he does anything suspicious.
Sure.
He might be getting rid of evidence or something.
Okay, so with the elves, if we're going to send Lenore and Uriel to go talk to the elves, what connection might either of you have with Well, Uriel doesn't know much of his past, so who knows there. Maybe there are some elves that have gone to the...
Yeah, the only thing I could
blacksmith?
say is maybe I'm researching some type of weaponry, elven weaponry or
Okay.
something.
Lenore?
They've brought some medicinal remedies to the infirmary for
that
us.
would make
and-
sense,
Yeah,
because they would
whatever.
have plenty of stuff out there in their forest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You go there, and you're going to talk to them about... Tell me what the conversation might sound like.
Well, who are we going to talk to?
You tell me.
We're going to find...
You could go
the
right to the king and queen.
Yeah, we need to
Okay.
talk to the...
Yeah.
I was saying,
And
we need to
when
go
I
to the
say-
top.
Remember, when I'm saying king and queen of this elven
Yeah, the
kingdom, it
community.
is a few hundred
Right.
elves,
Right.
which is enough since they practically live forever, and they can do anything they want in their own area. You get in; they're not completely secretive. It's easy to get into the forest. They have some guards as you get closer to the center where they live, but you're not threatening enough. Sure, you kind of look fiery, but they could just kill you if they
I'm
want.
just carrying a
There's more of them.
staff. You know, just
I don't
leaning
have
on my
I don't
staff.
have anything.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong? I have a staff.
Yeah. But I'm thinking it's like in Lord of the Rings when they first get in the forest and the elves just kind
Yeah,
of come out of
come out of
nowhere.
nowhere.
Kind of, it's that kind of thing. But they're not threatening. It's just it's practically a welcome to Wild Mist. What is your business?
We need to speak with the king and queen urgently
On what matter?
regarding the death of the princess.
Have you brought the ranger?
No, we believe that he's been framed by the Hawthorne family in Harak.
And when you say the word Hawthorne, one of them perks up and he says, "We'll bring you," and they escort you to the king and queen, who are only known as King and Queen Elf because I don't have names. and the king is pretty quiet, and the queen asks the questions as soon as you approach. She says, "What business have you here between the or news have you between the ranger and the Hawthorns?"
Well, the ranger has been a companion of ours and a trusted ally, and we believe that he's being framed for these murders. When he was detained by the sheriff a while back, he was missing some of his arrows when he was released, and we believe
he's already committed criminal offenses.
He impersonated.
And he's innocent of this latest.
He impersonated
Is that
a
what you're
noble to
It's
try
their
and
daughter that got killed. So
he impersonated a
He's not
noble
pissed.
in order to try and find the truth of a situation.
and so
So
now he's implicating
He's
a noble.
he's never committed any violence.
Yeah, we're implicating a noble because
Right,
the
we're-
image confessed.
Right.
Well, we'll see about that as we skip to the other two. You guys are going to keep an eye on Hawthorne at the academy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of keeping an eye on what he's doing through the day. There's one student in his class that he is particularly harsh with, and that student appears to be a young half-elf male. That's really about what you get out of the day. And you're looking for this now, so he's, particularly that student, that boy never seems to do whatever he's supposed to do right. But from what you can tell, his penmanship is just as good as everyone else's, and he seems to be doing the right stuff in the class, but he's being picked on a lot.
So it's like Snape and Harry Potter.
There you go. Except Eric's not going to turn out to be a nice guy.
Right.
At least not yet.
Right, yeah.
Does this man have an office?
He does. I'm trying to remember where we used him before, but I want to say, was he the guy that told you how many... When you were
Yes,
talking
I
about the
needed
students
to
and
know-
the exchange
right.
thing, that the students come to visit the infirmary?
Right. We needed to know how many kids were coming on
So
the
we're going
field
to say
trip.
it was him. So he's kind of like, not only does he teach penmanship, but he's also like the
Administrator.
Head- Headmaster?
supply clerk administrator, one of the administrators of the academy. So he does have an office. His chairs are, if I remember right, his chairs are particularly uncomfortable for a reason, because he doesn't want people staying in his office long.
He's not
But yes, he does
not
have
a
an
generally
office.
nice guy.
Yep.
Now I have a backup plan, and it's not a particularly plan that I can be a party of, but perhaps you could assist. We could always just put more of your arrows in his office, and then like tip him off that maybe that could be something that they can come across.
Like
and,
frame the framer.
Yeah,
That's not a bad idea.
That's
It's not
pretty
the
good,
worst
actually.
idea.
I mean it's real dishonest, but in the best way, I guess.
The ends justify the means.
I suppose.
Okay. You want to do it? That sounds like a sneaky move.
Yeah, it's pretty
Brightens
sneaky.
up for sneaking in there. and
Absolutely.
Dropping a couple.
Although if he
items.
gets caught, that's real bad.
That's horribly
That's
bad.
real bad.
I mean, perhaps I could be a lookout for him, but I
Might be a
can't,
fight if he got caught.
Yeah.
can't really be questioned
So
on the
let's
matter.
go for it. Let's make that roll. Give me another defy danger with dexterity roll here.
Dexterity is +3 on top of 5, 8.
That's an 8. Okay. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to use this to wrap this one up. You go in. You're able to plant the arrows. After you've planted the arrows, part of the conversation that Lenore and Uriel have with the elves inspires them to go into the city to check things out. When they get into the city and recruit some of the city guard to go check on Hawthorne, they find the arrows, and Hawthorne is indeed now implicated. And the woman he was talking to, was it Sarah, you said? That was the
His
name
wife.
that you gave.
Yeah.
She actually outs him because she didn't believe that he was doing the right thing for the family. Trying to kill elves and take their land seemed like a really bad idea, but she's going along with it. So he gets arrested, and Breton, your name is cleared. However, you still get sideways glances a lot in the city because
He's wearing a dress and walking around with a boner.
There's that too.
Oh, plus he's had sex with half the daughters in town. Everybody's
Yeah.
pissed off at him.
That would be a long show title name, but it's not bad. Wearing a dress and walking around with a boner.
I think you should just call it dressing boner.
But that will wrap up the Breton Framed for Murder episode.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a good one. And so what do we think? I wanted to wrap it up quick so we could take a minute. What do we think about the forced punch-you-in-the-face expedited adventure?
Not bad.
It was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem crazy fast.
It wasn't
Yeah.
unnatural.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kurt?
Sometimes we spin our wheels too long because we're not sure.
Yeah.
What we're supposed
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
So this keeps us moving.
Yeah,
For a while.
I do like that.
Keeps us
No
thinking.
dithering.
And that's one of the things I said beforehand. If I thought we were starting to spend too much time on any given thing, I'd say, "We'll just do
Yeah,
it. We'll
yeah,
go,
make it
move on
happen.
to the next thing." And that's kind of what we did. As soon as we started saying, "Well, we want this plan. No, maybe that one. No, maybe all right, we're doing that one. Go,
Yeah, right.
Go do it. Somebody make a roll. Let's move on."
And that works out. If we give you the options, you just, we'll go with that
pick
one.
the one and
Yeah.
make it go. I just, from my perspective, I hate saying your character's doing X.
Yeah.
I'd rather you say my character's doing X, and I tell you how the world reacts to it.
Yeah.
Because I hate myself. I hate being told what my character's doing. I'd rather me
Right,
say
yeah.
what my character's doing. And that's one reason why, for me, I'm a little reluctant when it comes to that. I like you guys to be able to think through and come up with the options. But I'm also okay forcing it like we kind of just did. But if that worked out well,
Sometimes
we're about to try and do
no
a couple
canned
of-
Let's do a
brain
couple more.
good.
Yeah.
No
Okay.
can bring you.
No canned
In the
brain
meantime,
good.
we can wrap this one up and we can all say
Brent's going to take off his bra now.
Oh my God, I'm gonna come.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.